Another rough performance for the Wisconsin Badgers as they lose 61-51 to Illinois, and that final score looks a little bit closer than it actually was in crunch time. To recap it, the first half, both teams could have hit the broadside of a barn, especially Wisconsin. They're getting a lot of quality looks in that first half, and they were just missing wide open shots. And the score at halftime was 16-20, and you just knew Illinois was too talented of a team to not start putting the ball in the hoop more consistently, and that's exactly what they did that second half. They got off to a quick start, got up 32-20. Then Wisconsin went on a quick 15-2 run, got the score to 35-34 Wisconsin. Right after that, Illinois goes on a 21-5 run, and that was the end of the game. Huge game for Matthew Meyer, who has a history of torching Wisconsin. He's had 26 today. And when he played Wisconsin in the 2021 NCAA tournament, when he was on Baylor, that second half, anytime Wisconsin pulled within 6 or 7, he would just had a dagger mid-range off the dribble or a three-pointer. He was really clutch that game, so he just has a history of torching the Badgers for whatever reason. But yeah, there really wasn't much of a bright spot for Wisconsin. And the only hope for Wisconsin to turn this thing around is I think Wahl has to return to form. I'll get into that in a second, but Wisconsin's now lost 6-7, and they've shown that their bench production is amongst the worst, if not the worst, in the Big Ten. David Joplin for Marquette, I know Wisconsin's rival, Marquette, had 28 points off the bench today against DePaul. Wisconsin, in their last 4 games, their bench has scored 24 points combined. That's a true team is a complete team. It's not just about your starting lineup. You got to have guys who can bring a spark off the bench or who can fill in for somebody who gets injured. And Wisconsin does not have that. They have a fine starting lineup, but it's just the production has not been there at all. And yeah, so going back into my point about Wahl, November to that Minnesota game in January when he got hurt, he was the best player in Wisconsin by far, and he's also the best athlete by far. And what he does well, he doesn't do well at the moment because he is very limited athletically at the current moment. He's getting blown by guys he should not be getting blown by. Against earlier in the year against teams, he would get switched on the point guard, and he would more than hold his own. There were multiple times this year where he got switched on the point guard, and the point guard would try taking advantage of the matchup. But with Wahl's lateral quickness and his anticipation, he jumped out to the spot before the point guard would get there. Point guard would fall over, turn the ball over. Now, Matthew Meyer made Wahl pick up his 4th foul, driving to his weak hand, and Meyer is just not a good slasher. He's a 6'9" dude who likes to shoot from 3 and take step backs from 3. He's not a slasher, and he got past Wahl like it was nothing. Dredd for Penn State got past Wahl like it was nothing. So I compare Wahl right now to like a 40-year-old NBA veteran who was athletic back in his day, but right now he's not that athletic. He just has some savviness and some wits to him where he can get some buckets here and there. Like a LA Lakers Karl Malone. But yeah, it just right now, Wahl is not nearly the player he was earlier in the year. And he's the one who stirs the drink for Wisconsin. If he's not playing up to his potential, I just don't think there's much Wisconsin can do. They've lost 6 of their last 7, and even with Wahl and Klesman in the lineup today, they didn't look good. Wahl's a shell of himself from what he was early in the year. And I want to refresh your memory if you guys don't remember what he was doing earlier in the year. Against Kansas, all the McDonald's Americans, Jalen Wilson, who was guarding him, National Player of the Year candidate. Wisconsin was down, I believe, about 52-60 with about 4 minutes left. And Wahl goes back in the game after dealing with some foul trouble. And Wisconsin was just running endless ISOs with Wahl. And Wahl was scoring on Kansas nonstop, scoring on their McDonald's All-Americans nonstop, getting all the way to the hoop and slashing, posting up, finishing. I don't think he can make any of those moves today that he was making back in the Bahamas there just because of his ankle. And against Marquette, when he was guarding Omax, Omax is an NBA prospect, athletic, 6'8" forward. Well, guess what? He didn't look like an NBA forward when Wahl was guarding him. Wahl was more athletic than him, and he was shutting him down. The only time Omax scored on Wahl was when Wahl clamped him up, blocked his shot, and the ball went right back to Omax. Omax laid it in. So my point being is Wahl is a really good athlete at full health, and his athleticism kind of can compensate for the rest of the team kind of being average athletes at the best. So without his athleticism, it hurts Wisconsin significantly. So Wisconsin's hope to turn the season around, I think, relies on if Wahl can return to his old form. And I don't know, Kenny, like playing basketball every day on a bad ankle, how is it going to heal? Is he going to be this way the rest of the season? Or is it possible for him to return form? I don't really know. I guess we'll find out as time goes on. And that's really all I have for you. So we'll see if Wisconsin can turn it around. But if this is your first video with me, thank you very much for making it to the end of the video. And make sure to like and subscribe for more college basketball content. And I'll see you next time.